Of course, the other one, very interesting one, maybe you don't have in Korea, you have or not have, because in Malaysia, a lot of people still believe in black magic. Not. So there was this lady, she was in a community. They're not very well educated. She was a young lady, and then her husband died in an accident. And I think some of the guys there tried to make moves on her. I think she didn't want to agree and all that. So they passed a rumor around the village that she practices black magic. So the community chased her out of the village. So she landed up. So one of my friends does volunteer work. He told me, he said, this lady, she's not educated. She's got one child. The community had thrown her out. She cannot work. She cannot do. She wants to go back to the community because here communities are very important, especially among the. So what to do? You can't go to court for all these kind of matters. So I decided to help to mediate. It took me about 3-4 months to get both sides talking, especially the community side. So what we did was, we managed to settle, the community accepted her back again. So on top of that, as I said, I also do work with some volunteer works. One of my friends managed to get her a part-time job. Another friend of mine agreed to help to pay for the child's kindergarten and welfare and all that. So this was nothing to do with construction, nothing to do with commercial, purely to do with, somebody accepts you into the. And then I had one more was, in Malaysia, there's a lot of deforestation going on. We have still a lot of native people living. So I was conducting a course on construction law. So one of the participants came back and told me, he says, sir, my brother is a logger. He went in to do, and then the natives there have actually closed up the whole thing and refusing to allow them to take the equipment out. So I told him, I said, make a police report and do that. He said, no, we don't want to do that. We want to settle it properly. So what to do? Asked me to mediate. And the first time I went in, when they looked at me, they thought I was an alien. They have never seen a person wearing a turban. Because they're living in the jungle. So I spent about 2-3 weeks living with them. I stayed with them. I lived with them. I got to know them. I got them into my trust, started talking. And then we managed to have a very amicable settlement. So that was another very satisfying, totally different. You don't learn it in the textbooks. You don't learn anything. But you have to become one to get their confidence, to know they can trust you, you're not going to play, because they're suspicious of all outsiders. Very, very suspicious because the way people have been handling them. You see? Of course, they're very suspicious of the authorities. They have their own reason, you see, because big corporations have been just coming, doing all this and walking away. So these are some of the examples as I find non-conventional, but no other dispute resolution method would have worked. But here it worked. Now I know there's no money. There's no money. But the way they treated me, the way they honored me, the trust they gave me, they treated me as one of their own, And every time, if I have the time, I go and visit them, they welcome me. I mean, the gratitude, as I said, sometimes gratitude cannot be measured in terms of money. I'm not very rich, but I think I'm comfortable enough. I got a roof on my head. I have enough money. It was okay with me. If I can do it, I do it. And this kind of experiences only come, I never planned for it. They will never go to appointing authority to appoint because they don't know all this kind of things happening on these lower levels. So very important for mediators, yes, you can do commercial, there's nothing wrong. You can make money out of these. Like for me, when I do the big construction dispute, I charge them my normal fees. But on the other hand, at the lower levels, you should be able to come down and do it for your self-satisfaction, contribution, or empathy, or whatever it is, because people are having real problems. Once you get authorities involved and becomes very legal and all that, you don't blame the legal, you don't blame the authorities because there are rules they got to follow. You don't blame them, but try to avoid going up to that level first. Can sort it out, you can sort it out.
What quite touching stories, and which make you so successful in settlement? What makes that possible?
I can come down to the very lowest level. You go and do commercial dispute, you can wear your jackets and all that. Here, you must dress them, you must act them, we must be like them. And the most important thing is, which we are lacking in a modern society, you must be able to listen to people with an unbiased view. Listen. Like mediation, I tell you, money-wise, I've not gained much. You know what I've learned? It has improved my character. I can listen. And then people will be emotional. They say all kinds of things. You shouldn't be sensitive. Because you must understand, in that position, they are a very troubled soul. Their problem is the biggest and nobody is listening to them. People cut them off. Like you do the conventional mediation where you charge according to hour. Because of cost, you only give limited time for them to talk. In real life, it doesn't work like that. Even family matters. Like the other day, I was doing one mediation. This lady, she wanted to cry her heart out because it was pro bono. So we allow her. She was 2 hours and I was listening to her. Wow. At the end of the day, she turned around and told me, she says, "Sir, you are the first person who listened to me. Thank you very much." And after that, she had calmed down. She was willing to look into all the options and this, that, and all that. And this is what happens in real life. You go to court, the lawyers take over from you. They talk on your behalf. You see? And these kind of things. And then when you go to all these kind of formal, if you follow the rules, or limited hour, we give 2 hours to one party, 2 hours to one party. That is commercial. But in real life, when people have these kind of problems, they want you to listen first. You have to be sympathetic. So it has taught me to be a good listener, not to be judgmental. Like you look, this person like that, like that, And then don't come to any conclusions, and then don't force your decision or opinions on them, though. Leave it to them. Just guide them, help them. If they ask them, you just give them. But I had another case, a mediation, where this was going on. So every now and then, the lady was coming back to me, "Sir, shall I divorce my husband? Shall I divorce the husband?" In my heart, he was abusing her a lot and all that. I would have told her, "Yeah, divorce." But then on the other hand, I realized that she's going to live the decision. So I told her, I said, "No, this decision is yours. We can give you the pointers because you're going to live with it. I can tell you today that something works on your children and all that, you'll be blaming me for the rest of your life. And who am I? I'm an external observer. I don't know what happens." So ultimately, you can guide them, you can do them, everything, but ultimately the decision is theirs. The settlement is theirs. That's why when they come up to the settlement, I don't rush it. I let them sit over it, think over it. Because they have to live with the settlement. Because if it is really their settlement, they will actually honor it. They will honor it. Even if a third party say, no, so they will honor it. But if it's not, then the whole mediation process is just waste of time. And then people lose faith in mediation. A lot of people say mediation don't work. Don't work. Because you don't give it a chance to work. And this is where the mediator is a very crucial guy. He's a very, very crucial guy. So that's why sometimes if you do not have the skills or you have certain biases, don't accept the appointment. Don't take it up. Because it's just a wasting of time. It's different than arbitration. It's different than adjudication. It's different courts. Because you are making a decision. Here, no. They are making the decision. You're only a facilitator. So these are my experiences. It has made me a better person, as I say. Empathetic, look at people's humanity. Maybe also I become like that because I'm an old man now. I look at things differently, like what I was looking at 30 years ago. So it also is a combination of factors, but I find it very, very satisfying. That's the reason why I'm trying to promote it through do the best I can, urge people. Because one thing in life you must understand, I learned, always keep talking. The communication cannot stop. Moment starts, the problems all starts coming up. Anything you tell. So communication is important. So your role is basically facilitative. I try to be facilitative. But if they want an opinion, I give. But I tell them, it's your decision at the end of the day. It's not mine. You don't have to adopt mine because you're going to live with it. You're going to live with it.
So listen carefully without any bias, and at the same time, you do not provide any opinion.
Unless they ask for it. Even they ask for it, then you got to qualify.
Yes.
I can only give you like that. My suggestion, the decision is yours, finally. That's the reason some people are complaining about our court annex mediation. because most of our judges are not really mediators. So they are actually trying to, some of them are trying to arm twist and say, no, if you don't reach a settlement, then mediation doesn't work.
Yeah.
This is what the judiciary is listening. We have now got some judges. We had one guy who was in the Court of Appeal, Dato Ma Weng Kwai, he's retired now. He was one of the better mediators, judges. Now we got another guy, Lim Chong Fong, who's a quantity surveyor. And we have some lady judges and all. I'm not saying all, but there are some who, even when they went through training, they never really picked up. Because they forget when they are judge, when they are mediator. That's why I always feel that you have to separate the two. You can't have, so it is good. Mediation comes down to a different level, but it doesn't mean that judges cannot be good mediators. Yes, we have got very good mediators, judges who have done the job very well. But this is where I say, your own commitment, even for me, one thing I can tell you, in my life, I've invested a lot of money in learning. I still learn. I go for conferences, I go for talks. I don't lose anything. Maybe even if I pick up one point, you cannot say that you know all. You cannot do that. So you pick up, and then it helps you to progress. Like some of these people, when they rise up, I'm in a certain position, they feel very embarrassed to come down. And people like me, I'm a nobody. I got no titles, I got nothing. So I can go anywhere, no problem. I listen. If people say I'm a fool, doesn't matter. That's their opinion. If I can learn something, I can apply it in my life. I think that's what we are doing now also. I'm learning from you, you're learning. We're all sharing our experiences, that's all only. If you feel it's not right, then ignore it. But if you feel it's okay, then you have picked up something and you can use it. Why not?
Yes, I love learning as well.
No, it's a learning process. I invest a lot because I'll be very frank, this is what my German boss told me a long time ago. When I first went as an engineer to Germany, I thought I was a very smart guy, this and that. I came from University of Singapore. I was a top student in Malaysia before and all that. Then he turned around and told me, and I was not very keen to learn new things. And he told me, he said, Mr. Singh, what skills you have? Zero. You have no skills. You are selling your knowledge. And unless you build on the knowledge, what are you selling? You're selling a CV, which is the past. Nobody's going to look at that. So you are selling, you are knowledge based. So you have to keep on building on your knowledge. And then, of course, soft skills like this, listening to people, talking to people, this, that, and all that. These are the soft skills. So this is life. It's a continuing process. That's why I say the word seeker, if you look at it, S-I-K-H, is Punjabi word, it means pupil. That's why in our religion, we have a guru. The guru is a teacher. We are the pupil. So we are lifelong pupils, You're lifelong, you're learning until the day you die, you're still learning. It's a learning process. You cannot just turn around and say, that's why I don't like the word expert. I feel very uncomfortable. Because once you say you're expert, that means you're already in that category. You are still learning.
Yes.
All you can say, you share your experience. And I'm sharing the experience compared to you because I'm older than you. I entered this before you. That's all only. That's all only. Other areas you got more experience than me.
So advanced learner.
No, it's a fact of life. You must recognize that. The moment you think yourself like that, that's where, and then you are just, I think, putting on a facade, trying to show you're like that, but actually you're not there. And it will come up. It will show in your character, show the way you do your work, and people can see, a third party can see. I've done co-mediations with people. I really like to do co-mediation. Sometimes family matters, if you go as a guy, it's not very good. They would like a woman to be there. So you bring a woman mediator. Sometimes when I do construction, I'm a mechanical engineer. The matter might also be civil. So I bring in a civil man. I've seen co-mediators, they hold themselves like that. Then you can see, you can sense the way the parties react. And then like one fellow even asked me, are you all trying to help me or must I follow what you say? Because this guy kept on saying like that and then come with a jacket, with a tie. It's a simple matter only. You just be decently dressed like that. So the moment you put as a person of authority and this and that, you're trying to show like that, I find in mediation it doesn't work. Maybe commercial mediation, yes. All the directors come, all the lawyers, there's a dress code you got to follow. Like here in Malaysia, sometimes only t-shirts and jeans. The parties are comfortable, I'm comfortable, that's all only. And you must
Humble.
make everybody comfortable. You must make everybody, people must not feel intimidated. Once you're intimidated, you cannot talk freely, you cannot,
So be humble.
Yeah. That's all. You don't lose anything. Whether you're good or not doesn't matter. It's the result. The party will know what. You don't have to talk about it. You don't have to go around. If you're good, parties will know. You don't have to go around saying like that.
So be humble, always trying to listen without any bias.
And who are we? Tell me. All of us, even a gardener is good in something. I cannot be a good gardener, isn't it? You're looking down on them, you know why? Because they don't earn enough as a gardener. That's all only. If a gardener earns more than us, we'll be, like that. So it's this biasness. Everybody has got his good points. Everybody got his bad points. You also got bad points. But when you do all these kind of things, you try to bring the good in people. Let them see. Objectively, situation is so bad, but you let them look at it objectively, how it is and this, that. Let them evaluate. You give them the chance. Get them a chance to talk to each other, keep the communication lines open and this and that. The problem will be resolved on its own. I've come where people have walked away. I did a court matter in Sabah. The judge sent it down to me. That matter was East Malaysian case. They were suing each other for a few $1 million. There was a case of a trespass, build a land and all that. Came to me. First 2 days, I couldn't do anything about it because they just didn't want to talk about it. You see? And in Malaysia, 90% of our problems are solved over eating and drinking. Everybody relaxes. So I told them, and we enjoy seafood because Malaysians. So one evening, I told them, I said, look here, I just want 2 of you. I invite you for dinner. I don't want the lawyers. I don't blame the lawyers because the lawyers are helping you to protect your interests. I just want to talk to you. They didn't want to come. I said, no, I buy, you come. They talk. And there they started talking. And at the end of the day, one of the guy he just wanted an apology only. That's all.
Wow.
He didn't know. He's willing to just accept an apology. Then and there, I drafted on a piece of paper like that. Next day, I gave it to the lawyers.
Did you invite your home or a restaurant?
I went to a very nice food restaurant because I was in Sabah. I told them, it doesn't matter. I sat down, talk. All he wanted was an apology. So they went to court. The court endorsed it, and then the matter was solved. Sometimes you look, it's when they really come to their senses, it's a very simple thing they want. It's only thing when they feel challenged, no, I must whack you. Or you must give me this, you must give me that, and all that. So that's why I say different approaches. Like you see, I've done mediation on golf courses. A lot of Malaysians like to play golf. 4 hours, chit-chat, relax. I've done it in a restaurant. I've done it in a karaoke bar.
Oh,
Why not?
yeah.
Doesn't matter what. And that is why I don't like institutional mediations because you have to hold it in centers, this, that. But the kind of mediations I do are different. So I do it. I've done it in a temple ground. The parties believe because it's in temple, the other party is not telling a lie. So why not? Go sit. You don't lose anything. Where they are comfortable, where you can get them talking, where you do it. Don't lose anything. That's why you must be very flexible. Just cannot be. It's not like adjudication. It's not like court. No choice. You got to go to court. Not even arbitration. Here it's totally different. It gives you so much flexibility.
I think in your attitude to the life, it is quite hard to make any mistake or failure. But if there is any mistake or failure you have ever made, but that improved your view or life, then what would that be?
No, yes, because sometimes you look at it, mistakes when you read the situation wrongly, or there are some people, they are born pathological liars. They themselves think they're telling the truth, but actually telling the lie. And you cannot pick up. You cannot. And at the end of the whole process, you find that everything, they just used you. And then I got another case. This guy, main contractor and a subcontractor, they were having differences. So the court process, they wanted to go ahead. Then they decided to start mediation. And then I didn't want any money. Sometimes some of these, what I do is, I'll tell them, look here, I'm not going to ask you. At the end of your settlement, if you want to give me something, you give me. If you're happy, you give me. Where it is, you give me. So this guy said, no, I pay you double. So I was getting a bit worried. I said, why you wanted to do that? So we had a session at one of the place. The moment he came in, we started whacking him, punching him and this and that. He said, I was just waiting to punch him. I couldn't get the occasion. So it became a police case. I got involved in it. Assault. I couldn't read. All he wanted was to take an opportunity. And then the other one I find also, some people come to intimidate, threaten, and then you have not read the situation, then you get involved in a criminal case. So these are the kind of things nowadays I have to be a bit more careful as the things proceed. Like some of them, I walked away halfway. I said, no, I don't think so. Because you become an accessory, you're abetting, you can be liable under the law. You can talk any amount of confidentiality, but anything illegal, you are also liable. So these are the kind of things I've made earlier in my life mistakes because I couldn't read situations. Now, the moment I have a slight hint, I just don't want to give people a chance to. They are using the mediation not for the purpose of settling but for collateral purpose. Either it's a criminal purpose or to intimidate somebody or because this is the best way.
But it's very hard to recognize whether it's a illegal purpose or not.
Yes. But sometimes along the way you can see. If you must be very, very vigilant. You must listen. If everything they agree, doesn't mean that. Because I do not know, in Korea and Malaysia, the mediator must actually affirm the settlement agreement. You have the affirmation there. So if it's something illegal, you get pulled up. That is why even the Singapore Convention, the way I look at it, whatever said and done, the courts will still have to scrutinize whether there's any illegality in the place of enforcement, any law has been broken or not. Because people will misuse the forms. I've seen that. Like I had one case, husband and wife problems. I do not know in Korea. In Malaysia, one of the biggest problems we have for certain races like Indians is the in-laws, relatives all interfere, create a lot of problems. So I had that. So these two people are supposed to be only there. All the relatives came and the relatives started fighting. I tried to stop them. I also got beaten up. I had blue eyes and all that.
Oh my God.
So I telling myself, shall I make a police report? Make a police report, it becomes even worse. Hey, you got to keep quiet about it. But these are some of the hazards you got to go through. Okay? But this only through, you will get this. There's nothing ideal. The world is not ideal. You don't have to go far. Sitting as an arbitrator, I've got all kinds of things. When people are desperate, they're willing to do anything. And you must have this kind of open view. You must be sensitive. You must see all these things. You cannot just work in isolation. So these are kind of, as I said, all the pluses and minuses. And people will make accusations against you. Like, for example, in a divorce matter like that, the guy will say, he will make even an insinuation, why you're trying to help my wife? Are you interested in my wife? This kind of thing. And you are purely, so, sometimes it hurts, but then you say, no. They are in that state of mind. You try to control it. So
very interesting stories.
Each mediation is totally different from the other. No two mediations are the same. And the style you have to change. There's no one style. That's why I keep on telling people, arbitration, yes, this. Here is no. Situation, individuals, and you have to tailor according to. That's why you must be very, very flexible. Yeah, commercial is different because you're dealing with all these professional people. You can do that. But when you come to community, when you come to family and all that, it's a different ball game altogether. So again, to give you an answer, very difficult because somebody who's doing commercial, he's going to tell you the way mediation is done is totally different. That's my experience. When I do my construction related, especially the big ones, it's a totally different ball games. That is how you control the experts, how do you control the lawyers, how you control all these people being influenced by third parties coming in, and their end result is only money. At the end of the day, money. But when you go down to the level, it's different. Reputation, society, whether it accepts you or not, issues to do with children, a bigger family, community. And that is where I learned a lot. I started from there. I learned.
All right. You told a lot of mediation story. Why don't you go to the just personal questions? And you explained some kind of habit routine, but is there any other habit or routine that improved your life?
No, that's why I say first thing, you must have empathy. You must treat them like human beings, just having a problem like you. And then you must be a good listener, a good and biased listener. You must try. Very difficult to be an unbiased, very difficult. Because your mind, different cultures Your cultural background, the way you brought up, the way things happen will influence you, but you got to keep on reminding. I do not know, like, I'm a believer of things like I always like to watch my thoughts. I watch what I'm thinking. So when you're doing this thing, especially more so, you got to watch your thinking before you say something or you do something, because it can derail the whole process. And then the other thing is what? You must be able to facilitate this communication. Even when people say they don't want, the impasse, you must not give up. Like a lot of people say, you try once, try twice, and then you terminate the mediation proceedings. You see what is at stake. Is something really at stake, custody of children, this, that. I think you should keep on trying. Give yourself a time frame, of course, beyond that. Then you have to tell the parties at the end, we have tried so much, now the decision is yours. Like some parties, I'm very frank with them. We tried so much, now cannot, you go to court, but this is what is going to happen to court. I let them know of that thing. Not that I'm forcing them to make a decision, but you have to see. Because a lot of people don't know the consequences, how much money is going to be spent, how much time, how much heartache is going to go through that. So you tell them, and then somehow they will start listening. And then, because at the end of the day, mediation is what? Win-win situation. You tell them you cannot have everything. Like I was doing once a family mediation, distribution of property. The guy agreed to give her everything, but she wanted this. She wanted the house, she wanted the car, finally I had to tell her, I said, look here, girl, come on, come to your senses now. You want to take his pants also. You've got to be reasonable. Mediation is a win-win situation. You go to court, you're not going to get even half of what he's giving you. But you see, you must drive that sense to people. People, when they're in the situation, I want to punish you. Grab, make life difficult for you. But you tell them, whole point of mediation is what? Both parties must walk away with something with them. Not the one go to court, is lose or win only one. It's 50-50. Here, no such thing. So it's very important. That's why I say one of the important things I do when I start a mediation, I explain the mediation process. I tell them what we are coming there for. That both must walk away winners. Both must be friends at the end of the day. Even subcontractor, main contractor, doesn't matter. And then all the options, like some of the time, like the other day I did one mediation, the main contractor had no money to pay the subcontractor, but what he managed to give an undertaking, a written undertaking that future job, the moment he get money, he will make so many deferred payment. Why not? Rather than nothing, you go to court, yeah, you can. He'll be declared a bankrupt, then what are you going to get? You're not going to get anything. So things like that.
I see. And another question, if you could read only one book for the rest of your life, what would it be other than the religious one?
One of the things I read, and I read in a lot of languages, because growing up in Malaysia, I had to learn 4 languages. I grew up in Penang. In Penang. So my mother tongue is Punjabi, I learned. I also English, because the medium instruction in English. I learned Malay. Official language of Malaysia is Malay. In Penang, we have a lot of Chinese who are Hokkien. I could speak Hokkien. Of course, now I've forgotten. I can still speak. A lot of neighbors were Southern Indians, Tamil. That's already 5 languages. So when I went to Germany, I had to learn German. So in terms of reading, I do a lot of reading in English, of course, Malay, Punjabi. Of course, I can't read Chinese properly. I can read German and all that. And one of the best books I think I've read is a German book called The Steppenwolf by Hermann Hesse.
Hermann Hesse.
Hermann Hesse's book, Steppenwolf. So it describes a typical person. It describes the work relationship and everyday, how human beings act and all that. I found that book to be a very, very interesting book. Of course, I read, nowadays my tendency, I read books by third world authors. I don't read all this. So people like Japanese, Yoshinari Kawabata, or Russian authors or Indian authors, you don't see their names on that list and all that. I stopped reading Western books because first thing, I cannot relate culturally. It's a totally different world. Second thing is I find Eastern books more related to my kind of culture and my kind of thinking. So I'm very comfortable with them. So it's that. That book, Steppenwolf, I read because I could read German. So because I wanted to read it, I always try to read the language if I can in the original language, like German. So it was one of the books that really struck me. Of course, there are so many other books. When we grew up in school, we had English literature, read all Shakespeare's books, this and that, all that. So one of my weakness, I got only 2 weaknesses. One of my weaknesses is buying books. I cannot go to a bookshop. The other one is music. I listen to all kinds of music.
What's your favorite music?
Not the modern kind of rap music. I listen to Chinese music, Indian music, Malay. That's the nice thing of Malaysia. Malay music, my Punjabi music, Hindustani music.
Is there any recommendation on Malay or Punjabi music?
Malay, what I like is they are what we call the asli, the original kind of, their cultural kind of Malay song. We call it asli, means original, you see. Their cultural kind of music. Because I grew up in Penang, we were exposed to this kind of music. I don't like modern music, never a follower of modern music. It's like that. The good thing about Malaysia, as I say, is so diverse. Just like food, we eat everything. Breakfast, I can have Malay breakfast. Lunch, I can have Chinese lunch. Dinner, I can have, So the variety is there. If you ever come to AIC and all that, you see in the food itself, you can have any kind of food we have. And we have grown up to, and that's one of the reasons I still like staying in Malaysia. Some of my family members are migrated, their own reason. I like Malaysia because the food, diversity, I like cultures, different cultures. I can mix with a lot of different things, everything to look forward. Like you see, we celebrated Chinese New Year. Then we are going to have this Malay Muslim Hari Raya coming. Then when the Indian Deepawali comes, and that's a nice thing. I like staying. That's why when I went to Germany, yes, work was very, but culture-wise, it was only one culture, German culture. Right?
That's quite a blessing.
Alien to me. I mean, to them it's okay, alien to me, but I couldn't stay in that society. Actually, I was given an option of staying back in Germany. I would have liked to, but of course, one was the weather. Malaysian weather is always warm. I couldn't stand cold weather. And then second thing, food, steaks and all this rubbish, I cannot. And then, of course, the other thing is, you have a uniform culture. Now it's different. That was about 30 years ago. Maybe now, big towns like Frankfurt and all that is a bit different, but Malaysia is, I like the diversity. And then as a mediator and all that, I find that I was never discriminated just based on my religion or my race or what. So long as I could help them, they came to me. Nobody said you're so and so, it's like that. I never faced a kind. So doesn't matter. So at least I feel recognized as a human being. Doesn't matter. I may wear a turban or what. I'm still a human being, just like anybody else. So long as you can help them, you can do something, people accept you positively. And if they accept you negatively, it doesn't matter. Because that's a perception. So you just help them to change the perception, that's all.
I see. We already spent 1.5 hours. Time flies. Let me ask the final question. If you can take a time machine and meet 30-year-old you, what advice would you give to yourself?
No, I will travel the same route which I've done. Multidisciplinary. I enjoy my engineering. I still do a little bit of work here and there. I enjoy the law. I still believe in justice. I believe I've written books, contributions. Society has given me a lot. I mean, some people can say God, but I think I'm a very lucky human being. I've got a lot to be grateful for. And I don't think so. I've done enough for society. I hope I can do more, but either my limitations. And of course, the other thing is I'm not young anymore. You have age problems and all that. But I would like to continue like this until my dying day. I want to be a useful person, somebody relevant to society.
So no,
that's the biggest thanks to me. That's the biggest thing. I don't expect anything more than that. And I will walk the same path again. The same path again. I have no regrets.
No regrets.
I've seen the world. I've met all kinds of people, even people like you now. So you meet, and that what life is a journey like that. You see?
Have you ever met Korean?
Very few. You are one. Of course, I've come across Korean contractors in Malaysia. They worked and all that. In fact, I've done 1 or 2 arbitrations where some of the Korean corporations are involved. But in terms of this kind of a cultural exchange or professional exchange, very limited. I'm very happy that you've given me this opportunity, and then you were willing to wait for me. All of us have our problems, we go through that. And as I said, I'm just one of the practitioners. That's all I need. So the one thing I want to clear, I don't consider myself an expert or a deacon or something like that. Only thing, a person who's been walking this journey longer than a lot of you young people are. So just sharing my experience. Your times may be changed. It's going to change. It's changing every day. In fact, change is very important. You have to keep up with the changes. And the message, as I said at the end of the day, all of us, we are walking a path, and if we can help each other along the way, why not? And if the opportunity comes for you to, of course, we have to survive, make money and all that, you do. There's nothing wrong with it. But on the other hand, if you can help someone, you can do something, you do it. And you don't lose anything. And one of the nicest things, as I say, when you see people smiling, they came in, they just don't want to look each other, smiling, talking to each other. I think that's one of the greatest satisfaction you get. You have contributed positive, because in our culture we believe every day, every night when you go to sleep, you somehow go through a mini death. Every morning you wake up, God has given you another day to live. And if you cannot do anything good for someone, don't do anything bad. So if you can do good, why not? Because people are also doing good to you, you see. Every day people are doing good to you.
You do good, a lot of good to me.
No, that's life. Life is, why should we look at bad? We always look at the bad side, negative side. Everybody got positive, every society got positive. Let's speak on the positivities and develop. And when somebody is down and out, just try to help. You don't lose anything.
Is this similar to Guru Nanak's?
Yeah, that's the philosophy. He say, that's why our community service to mankind is one of the most important things. That's why they run all these free kitchens. In Golden Temple, every day they feed almost 80,000 to 100,000 people. And the thing is running 24 hours. Even in Malaysia, all our temples, we have that. The basic thing, food, shelter, other things. If we can do it. And I think most religions also have this kind of concepts, but let's put it in practice. In any way, I cannot cook food, I cannot do that. So if I can share, I don't lose anything. Because I also learn from somebody, isn't it? I'm not a prophet. I learn from somebody. If somebody learns from me, and the new generation also got to carry on. You also got your dreams, you got your aspirations. Everybody has got, whether it's rich or poor, doesn't matter. So if you can make his journey better, you can share, why not?
I learned quite a lot from today's talk.
We are just sharing all our experiences. As I say, different culture, different position, you have different, and that's what life is all about. You share. And I find that most of these conferences, I stop going because you don't learn anything. Everything is so short. Everybody is marketing themselves. I rather do like the workshop session we had AIC. When we talk about it, we have a bit more time. We can share experiences. Or this kind of talks, we can share experiences. We do that.
Thank you so much for this long time.
Yeah, and please come over AIC. We would like to see more people and sharing with us. Let's show our hospitality. Malaysians are supposed to be known for their hospitality. Right? So let's show our hospitality.
Understood. Oh, bell is ringing.
my clock.
I see.
My clock.
I think it's time to finish. Any last words?
My last word, as I said, we try to share whatever we can. We help as much as we can. Everybody has got his own walk. So we shouldn't be judgmental. Then, of course, very important is you have to keep on learning. A lot of ways. One is reading books, and then sharing experiences. Whatever knowledge you have, you share. Experiences you share. Somebody may benefit one way or another. I benefited a lot from my old timers, as I told you, and my bosses, what the principles they taught me and all this kind of things. So we pick up something, and let's be very positive. The world is all full of negativity. Let's forget about the negativity. Everybody talks about negativity. Let's talk about the positivity. And I think if you put enough energy into it, I think the results will be there. And I see a lot of future in mediation, the way I look at it. And I think it's something very good. We have to bring back what we were practicing for centuries. That's what I'm trying to say.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Is there any traditional gesture for Malaysian?
Ours is all like that. Ours is like that. This is an Indian gesture.
Indian? What about Sikh?
Sikh is the same.
Same.
Basically, when we clasp a hand to you, we believe God is in everybody. So I'm acknowledging the God in you, the goodness in you.
Sasriyaka.
Okay, Sasriyaka. Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much. Bye.
Okay, bye.
Welcome to the 8th episode of World Mediation Deacon. This is DK. I'm extremely thrilled to have my guest today. Her name is Joanna Kalowski. Our previous guest, Jeremy Lack, described her as a fantastic mediator. I would like to call her the mother of Aussie mediation. She practiced mediation in Australia, New Zealand, Singapore, Thailand, Hong Kong, India. Also, she ran workshops in Italy, Germany, England, Denmark, Spain, Switzerland, and France. She is truly international mediator and mediation educator. Kaya Joanna, welcome to the show.
Thank you, DK. Wonderful to be here.